Hola, profesora. This is Joshua Hernandez, and I am doing my exam on the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe today. So, in the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe, it established a new border between Mexico and the United States. Um, it also was signed on the February 2nd, 1848, and this treaty ended the war between Mexico and the United States. Mexico ended up losing 55% of its land. Texas, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah. Terrible. And with all the loss of this land, there was a lot of Mexicans stuck there, living there now. They either had a choice to move back to Mexico or stay in the United States. There was about 30,000 Mexicans in New Mexico alone, and another 3,500 in California alone. So there was a really good amount of them already living there. Only about 5,000 Mexicans moved back to Mexico, and the rest just decided to stay. But America did end up paying Mexico $15 million for that, but I don't think that really did anything much. So the American dream of expanding, manifest destiny, that's what they wanted, and that's what they completed, but at what cost? They ended up killing close to 100,000 Native Americans. 25,000 Mexican soldiers died in the Mexican-American War. 75 and 150,000 Native Americans were still in those lands of the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe. 75,000 Mexicans were still there. So they were promised to have rights to under this new treaty. All the Mexicans living there were promised rights. But that really wasn't the case. They were still considered inferior to the people living there. They were treated poorly. Mexicans throughout the generations were hung. It was terrible. And there was a new thing going around in the United States called nativism, and that was extremely dangerous for the Mexicans living there. But it was just ridiculous. And some of the ways that the Treaty of Hidalgo Guadalupe affects Chicanos today is that Chicanos today are still trying to fight for the land that they lost in this treaty. And even by the southern border, the Rio Grande, down deep in the United States, by the southern border, there's still problems with the water there for people living down there, and that's just absolutely ridiculous. And the way it has affected Chicanos over the generations is that Mexicans for a very long time and through generations were struggling to be properly identified, and they were still being hung, they were being mistreated, they were being sent back to Mexico in buses. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And I can't believe that the United States would do that to Mexicans like that after they were promised rights, but they were just lied to in the Treaty of Hidalgo Guadalupe. But I do have some pictures that I would like to show you. This one was the LA Wall. That one is by Judith F. Baca. And then I do have another picture I would like to show you. This one is Our Heartland Broken by Richard. I thought that was a really great picture. It just shows, how ruthless America was in taking land. Also have another picture of of brave Mexican soldiers by Alexandra Nepal. And then I also have another picture of the Treaty of Hidalgo Guadalupe being signed. That one also was by Alexandra Nepal. But thank you, Professora, for this, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.